Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agentmoves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about sharing amazing stories with top realtors and how they got there so we can help make more realtors great. Let's start today. I'd like you to meet Deja Lett. Hey, Deja. Good, good. I'm glad I got the name right since I'm sensitive about names. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, I like to start, people that watch these videos know I like to start with something not about real estate, since that's all we're going to talk about. Deja and I happen to share both cancer thrivers, as we put it, both pretty serious bouts of cancer. We had a nice little chat before, and both coming out of it really well. So I'd love you to talk just a little bit about, like, we talked about mindset and the training you've had and how this has really helped you kind of get back to where you are now.
With Keller Realty, and a lot of the training there is to do with mindset. And so when I did get the diagnosis, it's just that scary, it's a scary C word that nobody wants to hear. And when you hear it and it's affecting you or somebody close to you, like, it's scary. And so there was probably about a 2-week period where I kind of felt a little dark and blue because it's between the diagnosis and kind of finding out what the treatment plan is going to be. And that space was really hard for me. And I just kept thinking about how I've overcome so many other things in my life. And it's always been having a good mindset. And, it's okay to feel your feelings. I think I realized that it was actually good for me to feel scared, to feel sad, to feel unsure. And the important part was to like visit that space, but don't pitch a tent, don't stay there, don't move in there. Honor your feelings, allow yourself to go through that. And then I pretty much just told myself I needed to get busy. And I got busy with my health and fitness. I got busy rebranding myself that year. Production wise, I still stayed very busy for all that I had 2 surgeries. I had 8 rounds of chemo, 30 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
So it was a lot. But it was really my mindset. Like I just told myself that like this is what I needed to do. I need to get through this. It wasn't even a like I don't even know how to explain it. It was like they say you grow through what you go through, and I feel like that's definitely what happened, but I kind of just put my head down and told myself like I just need to get through this thing.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
Um
No, yeah, people that haven't been through it, I know it's hard to explain, to put into
it is.
words, and I know you have 3 adult kids. When you have a whole family,
Yeah,
it's almost like you're more worried about them than even yourself
100%.
as you're going through this, right?
Yep.
So I know that motivated me even more, like that,
Mhm.
setting that mindset to, yeah, you're in it and you're like, it's bad those like couple
Yeah.
of weeks, but then once you get out of it, you're into like getting better, whatever that
Oh,
means, right? It's
100%. I remember them telling me like after you have chemo, you're probably going to feel nauseous. You're going to feel all these things. And I kept telling my oncology team, I was like, yeah, I don't have time for that. So I'm not going to do that.
love
And
that.
they would say, well, we just want you to be prepared. And I'm like, yeah, but I did not want to set my mind on that thought. That's mindset. Like, I did not want to set my mind on the thought that I was going to feel nauseous and crappy. I told myself I'm going to feel good. And so I insulated myself with a lot of different things that I did to get there. Like I would drink electrolytes ahead of time or, you know,
Yeah.
things like before my treatments so that I knew I was setting myself up to most likely not feel crappy.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. Just,
yeah,
again, having been through it, I know what you're talking
you get
about.
it.
27 years you're doing real estate. So on the other side, great that you had that
Yeah.
as you were going through this, because you had something to get back to put your mind to not
Yeah.
think about this. So we'll bridge into, love. Thank you so much for sharing the story.
Yeah. No,
I think
thank
it
you
resonates with so
for
many
sharing
people.
yours too.
I know with me, like we're best buddies now on our DNA. It's the same mindset, same DNA. I
Yeah.
love the way you approached it, exactly the way I did. And
I
hey,
tackled it.
we're both out of it on a good way right now. All right,
Yes.
so let's get into, again, I think very positive what you've been through. Like
Yeah.
me, nothing negative here. You're here, which is
Yeah.
awesome, doing great. So tell us now about the journey. That's one journey. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the real estate journey now. How
Oh,
does it start 27 years ago?
So it actually started, yeah, so that would be 27 years. It was like 97, 98. I started as a real estate assistant to the top agent in Key West, Florida. I was a military wife and we were stationed down there. And I was working for this lady, Margarita Veloch. She is actually still licensed down there. Amazing lady. She was also a marine biologist and a native to the area. So she was just really well known and respected in her industry. And I think what I noticed when I was there was I was the person that kind of did all of her like expired mailings. And back then you had to go to the town and get the tax roll. So, and the MLS was just starting to, I think it was online maybe for about a year, maybe when I started working down there. And I think what I fell in love with most was like everything had a process or a checklist. And so I do really well with you do this and then you do this and then you do this. So like they had FSBO packets, they had expired packets, they had buyer packets, they had listing packets, everything ready to go. And to this day, 27 years later, I do the same thing for my team. And, I just have found that what I fell in love with there was basically following a system and a process. And so I started as the assistant. So I did all the paperwork. I did all the I feel like I have a unique perspective to being a real estate agent because I've been the admin. So I appreciate that role. Sometimes I'm in it too much because I appreciate that role so much. And I've created so many systems. But I fell in love with it there. I came back to Maine, I want to say 2001. And I was a single mom at that point, 3 kids. And I just kept saying to myself, the lady out back at the oil company I was working with, I think she was making like $20 an hour after being there for like 15 years. And they started me at like 14. And Expedia was pretty new, newish around that time. And I remember punching in like, hey, I want to take my family on a vacation. What does that look like? And it was something like 10 grand to go all 4 of us. And I was doing the math on what I was making an hour. And I was like, wow, so every 7 or 8 years we can go on a vacation. And I just said, that's not how I wanted to live. I think I had an entrepreneurial spirit from as little as 5 or 6 years old. I just remember always trying to find ways to make money, to provide a service, to get paid for it. And I just thought to myself, you know what? You really did like real estate when you were in Florida. Why don't you just go for that here? And so I got licensed in 2003, and it definitely was not an easy start for me. I started to pick up traction by like 2008. And then guess what happened? The market crashed. But you know what? Those were the years that I grew probably more because so many people left the industry, and I have like stick-to-itiveness. I have grit. And it was go back and work for somebody else or keep trucking along and pushing through. And that's what I did. And I am so grateful that I did. I mean, it's just provided such a great life for my sons and and I've met so many great people, I mean,
Fabulous.
that's really where I started.
Yeah. So tell me about those first early years, that little grouping where you were struggling before, the crash hit. Tell us about what you were doing, how you started to kind of get your bones in the business, if you will.
So I waitressed and bartended for the first 5 years. So I will say that was very helpful because I'm super social. And every time I was on the bar, I would talk to people about the real estate market. They all knew I was a real estate agent, so they started asking me questions. I would talk to people in line at the grocery store. I don't know how I would do it, but I could hear somebody say anything, and I would somehow relate it back to my real estate business and how I could introduce myself to this person in line without it seeming weird. And I will say, I had that. What do you call it? Those basic things down that a real estate agent should do is talk to people. Stop being a secret agent. Get out there and let people know what you're doing. Like I was so good at that and this was before social media. People knew my name in real estate before there was a Facebook or an Instagram because I made sure I told everybody that I was in real estate. And like I said, back then it was a face-to-face conversation. It was waiting in line at the grocery store and just somehow, I don't even know how I did it. I remember sometimes leaving the grocery store thinking to myself, like, how did I just do that? How did I bring up my real estate business to this absolute stranger behind me? But I would. And so sometimes I miss that part because I don't feel like I'm as much out there face to face because there is so much social media, but I really would say I grew it very grassroots, just telling people and talking to people and making sure that my family and my friends and everybody around me knew I was in real estate. And so, those first few years were definitely slow. One thing I will say is I joined Keller Williams. So I got licensed in 2003. I joined KW in 2005. And I stayed there for a little over 2 years. And I literally only left because the office location, they just didn't have a location near where I actually live. And at the time, most of my business was down here. So it just felt hard to go to the office 20, 30 minutes away just to turn around and come back down here. So I ended up joining another company, and I quickly realized, I was at the other company for a little over 2 years, and then I came back to KW. What I missed the most was the words that I hear all the time that I still tell people, your business is your database. Your business is your database. Your business is your database. And you have to have a dialed in database, and you have to have the ability to sort that data just like that so you can find who you need to find in your database. And the company that I went to, they didn't even, this guy's still in business and he does a decent job, but he still doesn't have a database.
Well, no, totally right. So I take it then you went back to KW?
I did. When I went back, I was actually struggling. I was having a really hard time, and they had just come out with Bold, and I put Bold on a credit card. I really didn't have the money to pay for it, and I just threw myself all in. And that was my second exposure with KW with mindset. The first time it didn't hit the way it did. The second time, it really affected me in a extremely positive manner. It's just been really good, but I definitely will say, I think I put 11 things under contract during that Bold. I just put myself all in, and I just did the activities. And when people say, well, if you just do the work, it works type deal, that is the truth. Pretty much with anything, if somebody's trying to tell you how to lose weight and they tell you exactly what how many calories to eat and how to work out, if you follow it, you're probably going to lose the weight. If you don't, you won't, and so I think I learned a lot about myself, and I realized I had a lot of room to grow. I think I still do, but I had a lot of room to grow as a person, as a mom, as a family member, as a friend, as a business owner. And that's what came of that. Like, that's the mindset piece that came from Bold. Was it just really kind of made me realize, like, I needed to check myself.
Yeah, no, very, very good. Yeah, I know the coaching, the training, KW or any other place. It is interesting, and this is for other agents watching this. The most successful agents I speak to now today, they all have coaches.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I have
who
a
they
mindset
are.
coach, actually, particularly mindset. Probably going to get back into a business coach, but mindset is, for me, it's kind of very foundational.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't really do anything else from there if you don't have a good attitude or a good mindset. So
100%.
I've kept that coach in my life. I've kept the mindset coach, and I'm actually thinking of growing. So that's where I'm headed to next, is considering growth.
So tell us a little bit about, kind of post crash. The crash happens, but you're in a pretty good place. Okay. Yeah. And then, it's like, because, and I find this with a lot of agents that kind of like get into this, right? There's a life event that happens, right? That changes, like a low wage possible job that they all of a sudden can only get stuck in because they have, a situation like you, I hear 100 times, right? And then they realize real estate, yes, gives me all the flexibility. I have kids, and they hit it, right? It's a little, it was easier when there was such low income potential, right? Because in 2 deals, you could have made what you made in a year at that other job, right? But now you get into it, you've built this for a couple of years, crash hits, you're coming out the other side. Tell me the things you're doing that, really brought the success. Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely just continued to stay in touch with everybody, like, systematically. I've done really good for probably, I've been licensed in Maine since 2003. So I would say for about 17 years, maybe, I've been doing really nice calendars to people, and that list grows every year. So I stayed in touch that way. Like it's an annual thing. I started to do annual events. Like there's a harvest festival here in the city of Saco that I live in. I did clients like just I'm trying to think of just like the ways that I would stay in touch with people that I had worked with before. A couple of the other things that I really started to do then was a lot of online marketing, like linking back to my site I had learned. So I went out to California, and I met Ben Kinney. I'm sure you know who that is.
Yeah.
And I remember him teaching a class on putting string links out on Craigslist ads. So nobody was doing that here.
Back in the day,
so
right.
I started to do that, and I was getting like 300 to 500 leads a month.
Wow.
I was getting really panicky. So like there was just no way in the world that I could keep up with that. And so I did everything out of order, and I brought a buyer agent on before I brought like an admin person on, because I particularly like to still do my own paperwork, because I told you I was an admin.
Right.
So that wasn't an issue, but I brought on a buyer agent more or less because I was just feeding this person like 100 and something leads like a month, and they couldn't even keep up with that either. So then I brought another buyer agent on. So I started to grow a team kind of accidentally.
Yeah.
On purpose. I was like, let me just throw this up against the wall and see what happens. Does it stick? Does it work? It stuck and didn't work all at the same time. I mean, and I'm still learning those things, but
Wait, stay with that for a minute. Give us something that didn't work, because those are as powerful for someone watching this as the things that have worked, just to try and avoid it.
So what didn't work?
Okay, something that didn't work that would be something someone could avoid.
Hire a not hiring the buyer agents first, not even hiring the admin first. I think for me, and maybe I'm crazy and people are gonna think this is nuts, but I felt like I could have done more business. I needed a showing assistant or something like that. So maybe the admin and a showing assistant. Don't go right to the buyer agent. Like max yourself out as much as you can. Like empty your own gas tank before you try to grow a team. Because at the end of the day, the things that I wish I could do completely different is I know how I take care of my clients. I know how I am, how responsive I am. I actually just had a client literally describe me, and when she said it, I was like, that is me. And she said, from the moment my husband and I met you, we've sensed your confidence, your competence, and you had a very clear plan for us. And those 3 C's stuck with me. And the reason why I'm saying that wasn't just to try to toot my own horn, but those 3 things are really like good characteristics that has as an agent.
Yeah. And
finding other people that work like you in this industry is really hard. Like a good agent isn't everybody. Like there's a lot of agents that don't return phone calls timely, and they just don't understand the anxiety and that kind of stuff that can cause like a client. I'm extremely responsive, sometimes probably too much. And I'm 23 years in as a licensed agent. So if I could say anything, I would just say, don't hire the buyer agent first, max yourself out. And if that means you, then maybe, yes, the assistant for your paperwork. And then the next step would be somebody that can show property on your behalf and you can negotiate the offers. I would do that before I ever would grow a team.
Excellent.
Again.
Love that. Love that. So now, okay, here we are, 2025. You're feeling great. You're running, working out. Thank God. You look great and feel good. How are you going to scale now into 2026? What's the plan?
So I just hired an ISA that started for me about a month ago. So that was a big one for me. This person works 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I have 5 agents on my team right now. So I bounce back and forth with, do I want to grow a big team? Do I not want to grow a big team? So there's this desire in me that does want to grow something really big and amazing. And then I also know the responsibility that comes with that. And I'm like, oh, is this something I want to do at 52? Because I honestly enjoy going out on the listing appointment still, and I enjoy working with my clients. So I don't know how I could do both of those things. So I'm kind of in that space right now where I'm like, well, what if you grow the right team and I can still go do my own little clip of business over here and do things? I think the challenge that I'm coming across is just finding agents, like I said, that work like me.
Yeah.
So I hired the ISA because I'm pretty maxed out as far as making phone calls goes. And I needed somebody to kind of point me to the people that I needed to call, right? Rather than calling everybody in the database. And I'm not saying my database is definitely very organized, but I wanted somebody to go in and find the people that actually really wanted to talk to me. Not everybody signs up on your website actually wants to always talk to you. So that's why I hired the ISA, because my goal was to max myself out. Like I was just talking about, max myself out, have somebody helping me show property, and then any overflow from there. From these are just my leads, by the way, the
Yeah.
ISA is calling. It's not the team leads. So I think it looks like 2026 is going to be growing a team. I'm hoping to add like 5 to 10 agents in 2026. I wasn't really sure that's what I wanted to do, but it just seems like the more I talk through things with like my mindset coach, the more I'm starting to realize that like the only way I'm going to actually hit the goals that I want is I need more people.
Yeah. Interesting. Very
And
good.
it's trying to find, like I said, it's me, and I need to spend more time making sure I find people that I think fit me,
Yeah.
like align with me.
Yeah. The other
Which I
thing
think
I
we
would,
talked about that a little bit before, but alignment's a big word for me now. Is like I'm starting to find like not everything is for you,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, you've given, I think, some great advice on knowing yourself,
Yes,
A, and knowing, again, the match, the alignment with someone, but, loving what you're good at and those things you're not good at, give to someone else, right?
yes.
I mean, I think that's a great,
Does
some
this
really,
sound crazy to say? Maybe this is the wrong thing to say, but I'm really good at a lot of the things. So it's figuring out which ones I like the least is to get rid of,
exactly.
because that sounds crazy to say, but I'm good at the marketing. I'm good at paperwork. I'm kind of like that weird unicorn, and they joke about it at the office, that I don't need somebody really doing a ton of compliance on my stuff because I do the right thing from the beginning with my paperwork. So
Right.
yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. So what I would say is, and we'll connect offline after this.
Yeah.
I want to connect you with one or two other
Yeah.
agents that have been through just what you're doing right now. I have found that as you look to keep your production is my only recommendation. I've seen a couple of agents say, I want to build this team. They get so focused on the team, they lose their
Yeah.
own production.
That's
The
what was
team is
happening.
slow to take off. Your
Yeah.
income is now reduced.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
it's one of those touchy balancing
Yep.
acts.
And I think that's exactly why I've been scared to scale up again, is because I have found this really sweet spot where if I was a solo agent, if I was just by myself and I didn't have a team, I would be completely fine and do very well, right? But I know I have an overflow of business. I have an abundance of business, and I want to help other people grow. And so there's that other part of me, like that's in my heart, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm trying to find that balance of me still staying in production and doing what I love on that part of it, and helping people grow, because they're two different roles, right?
totally.
So it's like, and I want to be good at both of them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And this goes to like, I found the best agents, a top agent like you, the way you care about
Yeah.
your, customers. It's all about caring. It's not about
Yeah.
selling anything. You're so into what's happening with their life and that massive transaction. And I can feel, and again, I do feel this from a lot of the top agents, same way as they're looking to train, they
Yeah.
just want these people to be as great, to have a great lifestyle and experience what you've experienced.
I want them to know exactly experience. And then even like I said, the client stuff, it's like, I think that's why I get so stressed, because I do such a good job here. And then it's like, I can do a good job here. I'm like, can I do a good job at the same time for both of them? And so that's where I need to
Yes, sir.
figure out like who's the next person I hire
Yep.
to help me figure out a little bit more of that.
All right. Well, we know what you're going to be doing now for
Yeah.
2026. That's it.
Yeah.
Got a couple of months to figure it out, and you'll be there.
Oh, it's already
Interest
in the
rates,
works.
interest rates will drop, and you're going to be totally crazy.
I'm going to be so crazy.
I thank you, Deja. Thank you so
Thanks for
much for your
having me.
time. Can you tell us where to follow you on social media?
So I have my own personal social media is at Deja Lett on Instagram, and my company is Top Homes Group, powered by Keller Williams Realty.
Beautiful.
So that's across the board on all channels. That's how you would find me. I would say Top Homes Group. So
Best way to come in. Good. Please follow Deja. Follow Agentmoves as well on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. I thank you so much for taking the time, giving us some great tips and what not to do, which I love even more.
thank you.
That saves people a lot of money. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
Really
for having
appreciate it.
me. Yes, I appreciate you.
Till next time.